And I'm Tressa, and we're Fancy Marketing People with Union, a Wyoming-based telecommunications company. Yes, Wyoming really does exist, and we proudly serve the Rocky Mountain region.
On this podcast, we will feature businesses, organizations, nonprofits, and influential people from Utah, Colorado, and Wyoming.
Our mission is to highlight those who inspire their communities daily.
We believe this makes us truly authentic, because a journey of 1,000 miles always begins with a single step. Hey, Tressa.
Myra!
I'm already laughing.
I know. It's just my smile just make you giggle or what? I bring you such joy.
You bring me so much joy that my heart just explodes out my mouth into that horrible whatever sound. I don't even want to hear it back again, but yeah, that's
too bad.
Yeah, too bad, everybody.
Now.
Yeah, your ears will bleed.
Tracks are done.
Yeah, it's over. We're set in stone. But hey, have you watched any good movies lately?
I watched A Man Called Otto last week on a flight.
Oh, really?
With Tom Hanks. Yeah, it wasn't too bad. A little depressing at the beginning, but you know, it ended up to be a feel-good story, so it was good. Good use of my time, I guess. What about you?
I really maximize the moments on the plane being like how I catch up on some of the newest movies. I'm like, yeah, I'll just watch it on the plane. Like, nah, you know.
Yeah.
I watched a really weird one on the plane, but we're not going to talk about that one.
Okay.
It was shot from the perspective of your phone. Like the scenes were shot from like FaceTime only or like text messages. And it was a really good plot, but man, it was trippy. I'm like, okay.
Like the visual was.
Yeah, it was a little much.
Bit much.
Yeah. But we watched Air this weekend because it streams free if you have Prime. And Blake said it was the best movie he's ever seen in his entire life. And I think that's a little like stretched. I mean, I think it was a great movie, but I don't know if I would go to that length. But yeah, it was really good. I don't know. Michael Jordan's such an icon. Yeah. And some of the conversations we were having were about like, he won't be that same person to the next generation. Or will, like, how does he continue to live on? Like, I'm the last group of people. I think he stopped playing when I was in first or second grade. And I am the last group of people to possibly have seen him play. So where does that icon live? Like, is it through the parents or the people, or like what's going to be with the next generation? They won't have that same feeling.
Oh, that's such a great point. But then you think about like Elvis Presley, right? I wasn't around for Elvis Presley, but I know about Elvis Presley, and Elvis Presley is still a living legend to this day, right? So how does that legacy of somebody who's so iconic, like an Elvis Presley or like a Michael Jordan, continue through generations, right? Is it through the parents teaching them? Is it through media? I'm not sure. But I mean, he still is talked about and emulated. And I mean, he's part of Las Vegas's culture, for heaven's sakes, right?
That's a fair point. You know, one time he went through my hometown, which is small, and my nanny chased his tour bus. My nanny is a Southern term for grandmother. For those who are like, you have a nanny? Nope, it's my grandma. But she's too fancy to be called grandma. Yeah. So my nanny totally chased after him and went and hid around his tour bus. And I just think it's so funny because she still to this day is he's the best looking man I've ever seen. He's the greatest of all time. And I'm like, I don't know about that. I can think of a couple better people, but that's her. So you're right. I hear what you're saying, where it's it's still an icon. It's still a legend, you know?
Yeah, I think some people just have that essence about them that is transparent in every generation. It's it just continues to grow to some degree, right? I mean, there's Graceland. I mean, it's just it's crazy. I don't even.
Will there be Michael Jordan land?
Right? Maybe.
Airland.
Airland.
Nike has a whole theme park.
That's what I was just going to say.
I've some great freaking ideas right now.
Sorry, Disneyland. We just put you out of business.
Yeah, there's just
there we go.
Be, Michael Jordan land, where they just have Gatorade and stuff pouring from the sky and Jordans. I don't know.
Yeah, Air Jordans everywhere.
Yes, everywhere.
You must have Jordans on to ride all rides.
Yeah, That's funny. Yeah, one part of the movie, like, they were talking about how, like, they wanted it to be worth it. Like his mom was saying, because kids will save up for these shoes, and like my brothers, I didn't remember, I wasn't alive. I'm not going to lie. But so I've heard they saved up money. Like they saved up every penny they had because my parents couldn't afford to buy them Jordans, but they look like losers if they weren't wearing the Jordans. And like this shoe, the drops right now are insane. Like I get online if I'm looking for a colorway or I'm wanting to get a pair of Jordans in a drop, and it literally, they're gone or they're resold. And I mean, it's just so crazy that a shoe that was designed in the 80s, yeah, it's still so popular, and to the point where it is still that exclusive. Like there's still that iconic feel with it where people are like, they want the new colors, they want the new drop, like they've got to have it.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive, right?
Yeah,
we need to tap into some of that Michael Jordan energy.
Yeah, for real. Like, I don't know. We should just manifest. I don't know. Like, call upon it. Like,
call upon it.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Tonight, when I'm laying in bed, please, Michael Jordan energy, come upon me. So, yeah.
Then we'll be relevant in, 100 years. I don't know. So.
We'll put that in the podcast energy.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right. Well, today we have a wonderful guest joining us, David Ricley. He's the customer care director for Union Telephone. Welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
David is our best guest. It's been really
it's
hard.
A little too early to tell.
It has just been, listeners out there, David is probably one of the most people that we both, Tressa and I, vibe with. And it's been really hard not to just laugh. I just want to laugh and look at David and laugh. And
it's been hard not to interject in the intro.
Yeah.
If I could tap into some goat energy.
There you go.
I am here for it. Yeah.
Goat.
We could just tap into greatest ever.
Yeah.
Who wouldn't want to do that?
I just feel like that term is used now for so many different people. But Michael Jordan was a true
He is
goat,
the goat.
It's
right?
difficult to express to somebody that didn't experience it how iconic he was.
Yeah.
We talked about it earlier, right?
Yeah.
There was three or five TV channels, 3 major sports, and he was bigger than all of them combined. Most people remember their first natural disaster, like the where you were when it was. I remember that from my first pair of Jordans, right?
Yeah.
It was such an impactful moment. So, yeah, it's difficult to express. So who knows? Elvis is a good comparison, but nobody sits down and rewatches those Bulls games from a previous generation, right? I don't think. Maybe.
I don't know.
Yeah.
My husband's
Maybe basketball
a
kids,
weird.
but he lived it.
He did live it, and he sits and
you can't
rewatches
escape
it over.
Jailhouse Rock. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It will find you at some point
Yeah.
in the culture.
Yeah.
But like the '98 Bulls finals,
Yeah.
can you escape seeing that 3-hour game? I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
That's a true point.
Yeah, that's a good point you make. But,
Who knows?
Who
But
knows?
it didn't. I saw the movie. It made me emotional because it was so reminiscent and nostalgic for that time.
Yeah.
And I just don't think we'll have it again.
I don't know if there's another current player right now that I would ever feel that way. I mean, like, I'm literally at the end of it. Okay, I'm the end of this whole love session, and then you guys that have buried with this podcast long enough know that I went to the University of North Carolina, and that's where he went to college, and he's from North Carolina, and that's just it. So, like, to me, he's magic no matter what happens. Like, he's the best person. He is the GOAT and will always be the GOAT, just because that's part of my family culture, because they all cheered for the Tar Heels with Dean Smith. My nanny watched him play basketball. My aunt went to college with Michael Jordan. So it's part of my family, and then it's part of me because I'm a sports person too when it comes to that, and then forgetting what finals what the finals were called. But I don't think there's anyone right now that I would be like, this is the person. And I feel like we're trying to make it work with LeBron. Like, we as a society or the NBA or somebody is trying to really force the LeBron thing. And I don't feel like there's that Michael Jordan.
Yeah. It's a tough comparison to make. But I think what was special about Michael Jordan, I think people from Chicago felt the same way, that he was ours, right? But I think the beauty of Michael Jordan is he made every kid in America feel that way, whether you lived in North Carolina or Chicago. I lived in Denver. I didn't live where he went to college. I didn't live where his team was, but I felt like he was mine almost as passionately as you do.
Well, should we get to some topics that are more relevant to our business now?
Sure.
I mean, it's still exciting. But
Yeah.
do you want to talk a little bit about the department you run, what that looks like, and you're over the customer service department. What do you think that does for the communities that we serve?
Yeah, we have the retail stores, we have our agent channel, our affiliates, and our business sales team, our contact center. So it's a pretty wide scope of focus and areas of emphasis. And, just giving back is the priority. It's kind of been the ethos of Union since I started. It's what attracted me to Union, was serving the underserved, and we kind of get to continue that legacy with the customer service team.
Yeah, absolutely.
So speaking of that, like talking about customer service team and being involved in the communities, we put a lot of emphasis on our customer service. But how much value do you feel like it really brings to our rural communities, having that connection with our customer service team?
I mean, the people that you're talking to, right? You see each other at church and at the grocery store and out in the community. And so it puts a personal face and a personal story to the company that you're choosing to spend your money with. I think that's invaluable, but also just the devotion that I see in these folks. They take it seriously and they take it personally when there's an issue that they can't solve for customers. They wear it like a heart on their sleeve, so to speak. And so I think it's difficult to overstate how much it means to the people that serve our communities in our entire company, right? Customer care is just an extension of that.
Yeah, they're just the ones who are the face of Union, right, to our customers, and who are the voice of Union to our customers for the most part.
Yeah, for all gears in the watch, they're the hands, right?
Yeah. Great analogy.
Thanks.
Love it. Yeah. Light bulb moment. Woo.
Yeah, I'm going to use it a bunch from now on.
Yeah, I was about to say, just like take that sound bite and like repeat it at all your trainings.
Right.
And like when they come in, you'll be like mini Wolf of Wall Street, like pumping them
That's
up,
right.
like with
Yeah.
the sound bite just going over the intercoms. Yeah,
Fewer weird parties, probably.
yeah,
but
less activities.
Extracurricular.
Yeah,
Yeah. Maybe just a little bit less.
yeah, just a little less.
We'll dial it back.
Yeah.
Let's gauche.
So what do you think? Do you think that's the biggest difference then between our customer service and what you'd see in some other companies, is that we keep our customer service localized within the communities that we serve versus outsourcing?
Yeah, to a certain extent. I mean, the difficult thing is, right, our competitors have affiliate channels, and those people are local. They're neighbors also, right? The issue is that I think what differentiates us is we're hiring second and third generation employees, right? Their family has grown up in this company, their family's grown up in this community, and now they're carrying on that torch or that work that their families did. So that's what I think is really special about it, right? There's those deep roots and ties.
Yeah, I agree. I would say you're a technology person like me, or well, I don't know. You like things.
I like fancy things.
You like fancy things, and I like fancy things. And you're into technology and the newest technology. And I know that you've lived. I know you're from Colorado, and then you've lived in Cheyenne, and then you've moved here.
Correct.
So you've lived in some different areas and different. Larger-ish, and then now pretty relatively rural. As you've made these transitions,
Very rural.
very rural, yeah. How important is it to you then? Because like you talked about it, we really focus on serving the underserved. Like, how important to you is it living in this rural community and having technology that's just as good or just as like fiber is just as good as getting it in a metropolitan area, but you're getting it here in a rural community. Like, how important is that to you? And then the value it brings to our customers.
That's the fight, right? I mean, that's why we're here, and I think that's what we all fall in love with, is providing those equitable services that folks here wouldn't otherwise have, right? We don't run our business off a spreadsheet always. It's not, is this profitable in this period of time? We see a need in the community, and we go execute it or serve that area. So that's it's all of it. How important is that? Like, that is it, to be honest with you. And fighting for these folks who would otherwise be overlooked matters, and it should matter to all of us.
Yeah. Does it make it a little more bearable living here?
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah, here in the 80s would have
Does
been
it
probably
help?
a little more challenging. But I don't know, because it's such a necessity today, it certainly does. But I don't think that we were, all that different back in the day compared to, we didn't have the amenities of the restaurants and the shopping and stuff like that back then. But, there wasn't fiber internet anywhere 50 years ago. So I don't know. I think,
That's
it
a
makes
fair point.
I think it's about culture too, right? Like, the community has to work before providing the services help us make them better. And this community is just very inclusive. So that helps.
Yeah,
Sure.
absolutely. So speaking of technology and moving to a rural community that might not serve all your technology needs compared to like a Denver or, a Cheyenne, what would your dream world look like? If you were going to build a dream world of technology, what would that look like?
Terminator 2. No, I mean, it's kind of this, right? Like, you see people, there's always memes on the internet with a cabin by the lake, and it's like, would you live here if you had Wi-Fi? And everybody's like, well, yeah, that's everybody's dream, right? Kind of that isolated, you don't have to be on top of one another. You still know your neighbors. You still help one another out. Like, there's still kind of that old-fashioned traditional, I don't want to say traditional values, but traditional neighborhood feel. But you have kind of the more urban amenities available to you. Yeah, it's pretty much what we're doing, I think, and what we're fighting for is the future that we want.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I agree. It definitely changes things because I'm not really near a lot of my family, and it's different for our particular community that we live in because we've had broadband services and internet and for a while now. But talking to a community that we just launched in Wyoming called Big Piney, when I was talking to them a couple weeks ago, David and Tressa was at the event with me, and the people we were talking about the service with, they were like, we're trying to work remote and we're trying to do all these things, and they were running off of really low speeds, and some were running off of no speeds at all. And I can't imagine that because I moved to this community and the internet was here, so I could stay connected. I could do what I needed to do. I could stream, play games, whatever. And but this community just kind of got it like a couple months ago, and hearing them talk about like how their life just changed. This is something that I take for granted, honestly, because I moved here and it was established. I couldn't imagine being in their position and not having anything and trying to make it work or trying to make it work on very little.
Yeah, it was really interesting. We had the event at the library there, which they had just recently remodeled and redone, and it's a beautiful place. And as we were getting ready to prepare for the event and touring the library, I was asking what the most popular service the library provided, and it was that they rent out DVDs to the community there. And so the night that we held the event, we gave away some Roku devices and talked about the possibility of what the new broadband services could do for the people in Big Piney, where they could start to actually stream. And maybe, I'm grateful that the library had that service, but maybe it would eliminate people having to go to the library, check out a DVD, bring it back. They can just have the opportunity in the comfort of their own home to now watch a movie through a streaming service. So that was really cool to see and have conversations with the community about just those simple things that the services that we can offer them can change in their day-to-day life.
Yeah, they had some service, right? We didn't pull them out of the Stone Age, so to speak, but it definitely opens up a world of possibilities like the remote work. I think that rural deployment of broadband is kind of the backbone of this great migration we're seeing. Like, for the first time in a century, more people are moving from urban to rural than vice versa, and we're making that possible, right? So people get to live in those areas with high quality of life, a lot of activities. They get to have their, I grew up in developing Colorado. It's all developed where I grew up now, but like, I got to be on dirt bikes and four-wheelers and do all of that outdoor stuff that we all love because we live here. That's not necessarily afforded to every kid in an urban community. And so we really get to kind of marry the best of both worlds because innovation follows that technology, and you can kind of draw a map where people are moving to from these urban centers, and that's one of the first amenities they check, right? Like,
Do you have internet?
Do they have world-class broadband?
Yep.
Cool. We'll consider it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so true. Like, it's not even, I mean, I manage, like, not even is there a grocery store? Like, seriously, do I have internet? Will I have internet? Will I have access to doing these things? Because then we all feel like we're lost. We're like, what just happened? And it's kind of sad when you think about it. But hey, I mean, I'm not mad if people are considering, like, okay, they check that box, we're good to go.
Yeah, can you imagine how bananas it would be for our grandparents to hear, like, grocery stores third on our list?
Yeah.
In order to decide whether or not can I get food easily?
Yeah, we're like, we can order it. If we have online.
It can be delivered nowadays, so,
We can Thrive Market it. Get my customized box.
Yeah, Blue Apron, it all shows
Home
up.
Chef, whatever
it is.
That's funny. Well, okay, imagine you're days away from retiring. And you can only provide the people here one piece of advice. What would that be?
It has to be real. Like, you have to really buy into this, right? Because to your point, moving from urban areas or suburban areas to rural, it is a shift, right? In how you live your life. And you get a ton more, like, life in the work-life balance, I think, because you're not commuting nearly as much. But there's a trade-off, right? There's a cost to it also. And so you don't get as much art. You don't get as much culture. You have to kind of go source that and find it in your time off. But it has to matter, and it has to be authentic. Otherwise, you'll bounce off of it, right? And we're pretty good at sniffing out imposters, I think. Yeah. And I don't want to, not against anyone who's come and gone, right? But, like, those folks who it's not authentic, they're here for, that next rung in the ladder. They come and go pretty quickly. Mm-hmm. So.
Yeah. We've talked a lot about, like, some of the reasons that you love union and you're passionate about union is serving the underserved and giving back to the communities that we live in. And I know that you like to do that, and you're on a board in Uena County, correct? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, it's ECDC. They're not a cover band.
I was like, ACDC? Was that what you said?
That's the Evanston Child Development Center. And so we are committed to pre-education for young kids, and also serving the underserved and reaching out to those overlooked kids, and helping those who would otherwise not have the advantage that it provides. It's really a world-class preschool center. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So.
Okay. Very nice. And that is just focused in Uena County, or is it statewide?
Uena County.
Uena County. Yep. Okay.
Yeah. So both locations would be in Mountain View and then in Evanston. And my daughter attends the Evanston. Wow, no, she doesn't. I lied. She attends the Mountain View one, and she's gone there since she was 6 months old. And so we've definitely I've personally been a part of some progression over the years with it. And I mean, when I tell people the kind of institution that she's able to go to in a rural community, they're blown away by it, with the affordability of it, for one, and then for two, the type of education that she gets with it. I mean, she's basically been in preschool since she was 6 months old, because there's a curriculum even that young, the things that she's learned, and, like, I think she's a pretty smart kid, maybe too smart for her own good. But I do attribute a lot of it to being able to attend an institution like that, because I know she ain't learning that at home all day, so she's with them just as much as I'm at work. That's where she's at most of the time. So
I've been amazed. My son has attended there on and off over the past several years, and I'm blown away by the curriculum that they have, the activities that they have them participating in, and I would also credit them with him being what I think is advanced for his age. I don't have a ton of experience with 6 and 7 year olds, but yeah, I would absolutely credit to them. And I didn't know this until I started serving on the board. So 4 or 5 years ago, Union donated the land here, and I didn't realize that. And I think that speaks to our humility, right? I mean, we saw a need in the community. We partnered with the best in the state, as far as I'm concerned, and we put some skin in the game so our families and our community would have access to a world-class education program and organization like that.
Yeah, I agree. That was a perk of considering moving here because
Second on the list before grocery
yeah, I was about
store,
to say first it was internet,
Yeah.
second childcare, because I knew I'm working and my husband works, so I've got to do something, and I didn't have that same resources in the previous community I lived in, and I honestly didn't know what I was going to do, and to know that opportunity was here and it's just across the street, so I'm able to pop back and forth if I needed to, especially when she was a lot younger. It totally changed my my acceptance. Like, it was like, yes, this is an opportunity. This works for me. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been neat to see the alignment between the family at Union and the board and the people who run ACDC, right? The level of devotion and commitment to the community. They run parallel with one another, and it's neat to see the alignment. You know, when you live in a city, you don't necessarily believe that there's as much talent or devotion to community development as there is in rural. But I mean, I think that the passions and the roots run just as deep, if not deeper, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, as we kind of get ready to wind down here, I do want to ask two more topics. Do you have somebody who's been a role model that you want to talk about, or a big influence in your life so far?
It's the mosaic or the tapestry, right? Like, you kind of pull things from people that you find influential or whose ideas align with yours on a specific topic. Mm-hmm. But it's not, I don't have Michael Jordan posters on my wall anymore. You know what I mean? And I'm not like actively looking up or trying to model after one individual. It's trying to find best in class, so to speak, and kind of piecing it together to figure out what is our philosophy and how we move forward.
Yeah.
Personally, yeah. So Jesus, sure.
I mean, I don't know.
Some of his spokespeople recently haven't done great. But,
Yeah.
yeah.
All those Pearl Jam posters on
No
your wall.
Pearl Jam.
No Pearl Jam.
I don't mind Pearl Jam.
No Eddie Vedder. There's no Eddie Vedder.
I get a hard time for this. Yeah, it's just that they're not the best band of all time.
Yeah. For all those out there in listener land, Dave loves music.
I do.
So we'd love to do debating on best
rock band ever.
Yeah, best rock band ever.
And I discredit somebody's entire musical taste if they say Pearl Jam's the best band ever. Exactly. It's a relevant. It's a fine answer, but it's grown into a much bigger joke than it ever really was a stance.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
No, I have Pearl Jam cups in my office, and people think it's hilarious to buy me Pearl Jam gifts, and it's fine.
It is funny.
It is funny.
I gathered great humor purchasing that gift.
Yeah,
I bought David his mug, and it says it doesn't get any better than this. And I thought I was the funniest human. I laughed. Like, I was like, I hope he laughs as much as I'm laughing, because I was just like giggly over how stupid this cup was. Yeah.
They were equally 90s iconic.
Yeah.
Maybe not at Jordan-esque levels, but they were a big deal.
They were a big deal. Yeah. So,
But like Pearl Jam versus Led Zeppelin, come on.
Led Zeppelin.
Yeah.
Always.
Win.
It should
I mean, for me,
it should
yes.
always win.
Yeah.
It would always
It would always win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So, since David's such a lover of music and he loves to debate it, I wanted to ask one final question. If you had to listen to one song on repeat for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Oh, none of your questions gave me more anxiety than that one, right?
Really?
First of all, I want to know the scenario.
The best question.
I want to know the scenario, right? So I asked like several people since in preparation, because I have a song that I like very much, but what's the scenario? Is it Terminator 2? And I like got to stay on point all the time and be on edge.
No, it's literally
then it's Bulls on Parade. But
no, it's if you
am I Tom Hanks in Castaway?
No,
okay.
Pretty much, kind of. So like if you're in
and I just brought the CD
yes.
single.
No, this is it. No,
Not
like
even the album.
All
There's
of
no
a sudden,
B-side.
there's no album. There's no B-side. There's no mixtapes lying
One of the
around.
FedEx boxes has a tape with one song.
Pretty much, or your entire Apple Music got wiped and one song survived, and you were okay with it being the only thing you were allowed to listen to on repeat.
Could it be like, this is so pretentious, but could it be like a piece of music, like Beethoven, like some type of classical orchestra?
That's not as fun.
It's not.
No.
But I mean, that's the real answer. But like, favorite song that I could listen to probably the most is Seven Spanish Angels by Willie Nelson and Ray Charles.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. It's very Shakespearean, right? Like how it's better to die together than live apart, right?
Yeah.
And so there's a tragedy to it and a romance, but
Yeah.
you were expecting something a little
I was expecting
more,
different.
urban,
Yeah, I'm like, well, I don't know. It made me because I don't like being asked what's my favorite song because
Atlians,
I'm like you.
If you asked me an album, it would
It'd
be
be
Atlians.
yeah. I
by
knew
Outkast.
that. So I knew that much, but I'm like, I don't think I can identify my favorite song because I'm in a mood. So like I'm with you. Like if I'm raging, what the heck is that song going to be? You know, like is it going to be
circumstantial?
Yeah.
And I don't even know that that's my favorite song.
Yeah, but
Right.
you're cool with it.
But it'd be
blaring
fine
in
if
your
it was just in the
ears.
background. But I mean, again, if it's Terminator 2 and I have to be on edge and I'm John Connor-esque,
Yeah.
then probably not the song I'd pick.
Yeah.
You'd pick Bulls on Parade.
I'm afforded a level of privilege, so I get to choose a song like that. You know what I mean? But like, yeah, if things were worse, then I'd have to pick something that would help me
Help you get through it.
deal
Yeah.
with the situation. Yeah. Did you guys answer the question as you asked it, or was it just like, this would be fun to screw with him?
No.
No, I answered it.
Oh, what is it?
So I could listen on repeat to If You Steal My Sunshine by Lynn.
Oh.
Because it is happy and also really depressing if you listen to the lyrics. So you could get a
like pumped up kick?
Yeah, pretty much. Like you could get like we're going to ride tonight. Like this is awesome. Like jazz up. And then you can also like cry in your car to it. Like when you really think about it.
Do you think it would throw the machines for a loop? Like if that was also the Terminator 2 song that you picked?
Probably. But it would be kind of like,
Machines would be like,
that would not be my Terminator. My
Walking
Terminator song would be Icky Thump by the White Stripes because that's my murder song. Not that I'm planning murders or anything, but if I'm
Anymore?
Not at this current state.
turned over a new leaf.
Yeah, but if I'm riding
Or
tonight,
is it done?
No,
One of the two.
if we're riding, if we're going to dawn, that's my song. So
Okay. Word. Trust.
I didn't answer it. I
Go
just
for it.
wanted to mess with you.
Yeah, thank you. Go
That was
for
my
it
whole
then.
goal. Honestly, probably one of my all-time favorite songs is Somewhere Over the Rainbow.
Oh, okay.
really,
Yeah.
I can't do that every day. I'd cry every day of
Well,
my life.
But it's so, I know.
Yeah, okay, so
It's
here's
so-
the other thing. Like if I was away from my family,
But
it
I
would
love
be You
that
Are My
song.
Sunshine because my
Yeah.
wife sings it to my son.
Yeah.
And then I would cry all the time. But if
Yeah.
I'm in Terminator 2 Stitch, I don't have time for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't put situation around this, right? So I hear you.
Oh.
But that's just one of my favorite songs. So that's
Yeah.
off the
So-
top of my head what I would choose.
When I was a little girl, I thought I was Dorothy. So much that my parents bought me a new dress and ruby red slippers every year of my life. And my mom would take me around to local places and they would go, "Oh, Myra, sing Somewhere Over the Rainbow for me." So I would like sing to random businesses and people 24/7 Somewhere Over the Rainbow. So you want to get me like effed up in the floor crying. Like, yeah, that's my song. Yeah.
Good to know. Good to know. Yeah.
Well,
I know it's weird as shit.
It's
but
not weird.
Yeah, oh, it's
I mean,
weird.
no.
Yeah. It's weird. But
Good childhood memory. Right?
this was part of those things where like we all thought we had hobbies and we all thought we liked things when I think it's really a savant. Like in the end, like there's something else going on. Yeah, that was mine.
the Ruby Slippers.
It was Wizard of Oz just in
Yeah.
general.
Yeah,
in
my kid,
general.
have you watched it with your kid yet?
No.
Yeah.
I don't know if I could.
What's
She'll
the
ruin
age?
it.
What's the right age?
I don't know.
Because I think
My parents put it on
it's
me like
horrifying
day one.
for if they're too young. By today's
Yeah.
standards,
Well,
it's really like, and it's about a stranger that murders a lady and steals her shoes,
true.
travels with her pack of crew and to kill again.
But I was obsessed. And there is a thing in North Carolina called the Land of Oz.
Yeah.
And there's a legit yellow brick road, and you go up in the mountains, and people dress up. And like when I was going, they had original munchkins.
That sounds way worse than the movie, but
Yeah, they would come. The munchkins would come, like real ones. And you, like the ones that were in the movies and stuff. And so it was like, I really thought it was my world. And so I don't know, that might speak to what's wrong with me. I don't
okay.
know.
Explains it all now.
Yeah,
Myra.
it's all captured now.
Explanation
Yeah.
done.
Yeah.
yeah, Caden 7 hasn't seen it.
Yeah.
And I don't know,
I don't think I would show it to Magnolia right now. And I don't know
4
if she would like it.
or 5.
She's 4. Yeah. I don't think but we watched Beauty and the Beast the other day, and she was legit mad that the Beast changed to a human. She's like, why did he change? Like, where did he go? And like, I don't think I've ever watched that movie and been like, yes, stay the Beast. So I'm kind of
That's a
questioning.
weird dynamic. Usually it's like, boy, he just kidnapped her till she loved him.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's usually the takeaway.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. So she was kind of like, you know, if you're going to ride this way, you might as well just stay the Beast. Like, why do you got to be?
Yeah, or has its
person.
time passed? Has the Wizard of Oz? Is it like meh? It's not something you show. Like I feel like our generation, every kid watched it.
Every kid watched
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. And is it not that thing anymore?
There were a lot of kids growing up with me that never watched it, and that I still don't think have watched it.
Yeah, you're way younger.
Yeah, but I was like brainwashed to love it, I guess. My mom was a fanatic of Gone with the Wind too. So I mean, it's either, putting in 2 VHSs to watch Gone with the Wind or watch Wizard of Oz. So
A little bit easier to watch Wizard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair. Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I can unfortunately
It's a
quote
classic. Yeah. I just
both.
it seems strange to like just now are we able to show our kids things that are 100 years old, right? And so it seems strange to be like, hey, this came out 60 years before your dad was born,
Yeah.
right? There's no point of reference for him, and yeah, it's not like when I was a kid,
But what are you going to buy? Okay, so here's the theory. Like everything that people get hooked on, like usually has a resurgence of some sort. And then there's toys or action figures or stuffed animals or whatever.
There's no license tie-in.
Yes, there's nothing really going on with the Wizard of Oz. Like they did do a re-release of the Barbies. So my parents bought me the Barbies. But that hasn't happened in years. Like you don't see anything. I can't go into Walmart and find anything Wizard of Oz related.
Fair.
Do you
can't
know what I mean?
reinforce it.
You can't.
Yeah, they should remake The Wiz though.
The Wiz was amazing. Okay.
On that note.
I've seen every variation.
Yeah, I would be down with a whole host of Wiz.
The whole host,
yeah. Yeah.
Well,
The Wiz 2, Electric Boogaloo. Am I mixing up? Yeah, mixing up sequels.
That's funny.
But yeah, that's a good point. There's no licensing products.
Yeah.
I think she's trying to wrap up.
Yeah, she wants
Okay.
us to shut up. Anyways, well, thank you, David. We appreciate that.
It's my
you were
pleasure. Thank you.
Yes,
Yeah.
thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for
Appreciate your
the
time.
gotcha question. Yeah.
Oh, it's a great answer. Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, anyways, until next time.
Stay authentic.